Brought to you by Penguin.
Road Captain. Written and read by me, Luke Rowe. Dedication. I would like to dedicate this book to my mum, Alison Rowe. She sadly passed away in 2023. The wonderful lady who always put others first, gave the best hugs, was solid as a rock, and my number one dance drinking partner. I wouldn't have achieved the career I had or be the man I am without you. I aim to follow in your footsteps and to become half the person you were. Always take time to smell the flowers. Prologue. Winning is everything in professional sport, although my own record does undermine this a tad. I just had 2 victories in 13 years as a pro. Cycling, though, is a sport like no other. I wasn't paid to win, but in my role as road captain, I was paid to secure victory for others. What does a road captain do? Essentially, almost everything to ensure their leader ends up on the top step of the podium, and I mean anything. It's a role very few riders are qualified for, and which almost no one outside the professional peloton really understands. In this book, I'm going to take you inside the peloton and into the heart of my career as road captain. I'm going to start, though, with an insight into what anything can mean. So let's scroll back to the 4th of March 2017, the day before the start of Paris-Nice, arguably the most prestigious one-week race on the calendar, known as the Race to the Sun. It starts on the outskirts of Paris, where winter is still firmly in charge, and finishes in early spring sunshine on the Côte d'Azur. To win it, you've got to be at the top of your game in every aspect of racing, especially if the weather's shit and the wind's blowing. One mistake, and it's game over. Paris-Nice doesn't offer second chances in the way that a 3-week race like the Tour de France can, and that's one of the reasons I love it. Another is that it's renowned for full-gas racing, especially in the opening 2 or 3 days close to Paris, where the roads are exposed and that bitter wind comes into play. Going into the 2017 race, Team Sky had won the previous editions with Richie Porte and Geraint Thomas, and we were looking for a hat-trick with Sergio Henao as our leader for the week. But he'd need to ride the perfect race to beat Spain's 3-time Tour de France winner Alberto Contador and Richie, who'd left Sky to become the outright leader at BMC. You go to Paris-Nice with a squad of 2 halves, guys who can get the leader through the crosswinds, and then guys who can get the leader up the climbs as you approach the coast. Our director sportifs, Servaas Knaven and Nico Portal, knew the first 2 days were going to be windy, and that evening, before the race started, they told me, "Right, Luke, you got to look after Sergio. If we can get him through these first 2 days, we think he can win the race. The only problem is, he hasn't got a clue in the crosswinds. This is a baptism of fire for him." I was thinking, fuck, that's a big ask with the team we've got. We had Sebastian Henao, Sergio's cousin, David Lopez, Mikel Nieve, and Philip Dignan for the climbs, which meant everything was on me, Mikel Golas, and Christian Nies for the opening days in the crosswinds. I went to the bus and said to Nico, "You can't do this to me. You can't put this team together and then say, right, it's on you for 2 days, because it was largely on me." We had Golas and Nisi, who could ride the wind, but the rest couldn't. If any of the 3 of us had a mechanical or other issue, we'd be skating on thin ice, because riding in crosswinds is not the kind of job you can do on your own. After we'd had dinner in the team hotel that evening, I got Sergio to sit down with me and I explained to him the basics of riding in an echelon. At an angle across the road, using the salt and pepper pots on the table to illustrate what I was saying. "Sergio, if it splits, we've got to share the work. I can't protect you all the time." I told him, using the pots to demonstrate, how I'd make space for him and how he'd have to then do it for me, protecting our place in the echelon and taking turns to bear the brunt of the wind. When the first stage got going the next day, we didn't have to wait too long to find out whether Sergio had understood my instructions. With 50 of the 148 kilometres gone, the hammer went down and the bunch split. There were 50-odd riders.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?